Hi, I'm Allie. Join me in making these looped over earrings featuring some wire scraps. If you have been making strung jewelry and you have some beading cable left over at the ends when you finish off your crimps, save those little pieces to make a great pair of earrings. If you need any supplies, go ahead and look below the video in the description to shop with us online. Gather up your scraps and let's get started. So what to do with all of those little scraps of wire? If you do basic beading, make a necklace or a bracelet, chances are you have a ton of the Bead string cable. So if you're using, or if you got in the subscription box, you have some extra wire here. Any wire will work for this. You're going to be limited by your crimp beads and your wire if you want to do this same style. So I'm representative here of some scraps that you may have if you've strung a couple basic bracelets with your crimp beads and you have extra wire left over. I have 6 pieces that are about 4 centimeters or a little over 1 inch. Again, approximation because you're gonna have these as scraps. And then one scrap that's a little bit bigger, that's about 1.5 inches or right about 5 centimeters, going a little bit bigger here. And we're going to be using these in conjunction with some leftover beads that you may have. If you've done the regatta necklace or you've done a blue design, any crystals really work for this. I'm going to be working with 3mm rounds in the Aqua AB as well as the blue zircon, and then topping it off with one of the Potomac Crystal teardrops in the metallic blue iris, and this is the 6x8. I have a collection of crimp beads here, and I have a needle nose or a wide jaw pliers that I'm going to be working with. So to begin making this, we're going to start with the bottom and we're going to work our way up. You're going to take your wire, there's just that little scrap that you have left over and you say, oh, I don't know what to do with this, but I don't want to toss it. Here's your idea. You're going to take the wire and bend it in half. It's tiny, I know. You can do this with bigger wire as well. I slide the crimp tube over top of both wires, hold that, and then push the crimp tube down till I have just a little loop. So we're looping these over. Usually when you're crimping, you want to make sure that your wires run straight and don't cross over each other. For this project, we actually kind of want them to cross over. And then we're going to do a flat crimp. I want to do 2 more of these, and I'm going to hook them into the first one. So you're taking your wires through that loop. You can see this one's a little bit shorter. This is really fun too. You can do it for a necklace as well or a pendant. Line them up. Sometimes it's easier even if you want to pick up your crimp tube with your pliers. And you grab your wires, push your crimp tube down to about the same distance, and give a nice little squash. 1 more goes on, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Taking our crimp tube, putting it over top of both wires, or through both wires here. Holding the wires, pushing that crimp tube down a little bit so you make the loops that are about consistent, and then I'm going to squash it down. So I have these little chain of 3 basically, 1 in the middle and 1 on either side. I'm going to begin with my smaller crystals, and I'm going to begin with 3 of each color. For the very bottom one here, I'm going to put on a crystal, pick up one of my crimp tubes, put it on the bottom of the wire, and then right where I see the wire starting to poke through, I'm going to do a flat crimp. And that's going to hold the crystal there in place. Pick one of the alternate colors, pick up my crimp tube, put it on my wire here. Once it's on the wire, push it up towards the end and crimp down. This is going to continue, and you can see even sometimes it's small, and that's okay. You can go in and the crimp tube will sit basically right above and right on top of, adding it in there and then squishing it down. So I'm going to continue adding crystals on to each one of my little ends of wire here. Once I finished adding crystals to the bottom 3, I took another strand of wire and attached it to the middle of those bottom 3. Then I attached 2 more wires to that one that connected. This is then how I got to a more full look, using up all those little scraps. So I have that center one, or the second one that I connected to, and I'm going to put another piece, and I'm onto my last piece of wire after putting the little crystals on there. And I'm going to put the next piece of wire on, and this time I'm going to fold it over because I want this just for that drop. I'm going to put the crystal or the tube rather, that crimp tube down. I'm attaching it to that center loop of the second one. I'm going to crimp that there with just that flat crimp as well. Go ahead and cut that extra little piece there down low. Drop your crystal on right to the crimp bead. Take another crimp bead, put it on top of the crystal. Run the wire back through the crystal like you're doing your regular bracelet that you got all these scraps from. And then push down the extra wire to get rid of it. I like to pull the extra wire and then push that crimp bead down, making sure I don't have a huge loop at the top. I want my earrings to match. Giving another little pull to that extra wire. Looking at my other one, seeing how big the loop is. It's a little bit bigger, so I'll expand that just a tiny little bit. Pulling a little bit more wire out, and then crimping that down. Take your wire cutters then and cut off that extra little wire that's poking out of your crystal. And the nice thing with this design, like I said, it really uses up and utilizes a lot of scraps that you may have laying around. I've chosen just with the darker wire to put it on a gunmetal head pin. Just again, kind of going with that nice blue theme. Close it up. And you have that nice pair of earrings that you have using all scraps, utilizing things, not wasting and being a conservationist and not throwing out the scraps, having fun using odds and ends and creating a really simple pair of earrings. Thanks for joining me in this project. Remember, if you need any supplies, check the links below in the description to shop with us online. If you want other helpful tips, how to use up scraps, and great jewelry making advice, go ahead and click to subscribe if you haven't yet already so you don't miss anything from us at Potomac Beads. I can't wait to see everybody's inspiring pieces in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. If you haven't joined there yet, make sure you do so. So many ideas and such a lovely community of people. Thanks so much, Potomac Beaders, and enjoy the next video.